So, before we get into the good stuff, I want to quickly introduce myself and tell you a little bit about my story and where it all began. So, hello, I'm Cody, and this is my story. I have always known that I've wanted to do beauty therapy. I remember as young as year four knowing that I had a passion and that I wanted to have my own beauty salon. In 2010, I started my 3 year beauty apprenticeship in a high school leavers program. This meant that I was technically in year 10, but I had special school pass that allowed me to work full time as an apprentice beauty therapist in Darlinghurst in Sydney. I worked this full time job Tuesday to Saturday and I attended a private college 1 day a week on Fridays. I was 15 then, and I returned just once that year to complete my Year 10 certificate across 3 days. And here is a photo of me in a bright pink dress going to my Year 10 formal. Fast forward to 7 years ago, I returned from traveling the world to live with a new boyfriend in a new area of Sydney that I was not familiar with. I applied for a job in a salon franchise that had around 9 stores and mostly worked via kiosks in shopping centers. Almost instantly after I completed the job interview, I got told that I not only got that role, but I was offered a managerial role in their Pitch Street CBD store. I was over the moon. I thought that I'd really hit the jackpot, but soon after starting the job, I quickly realized that the hours were really long, the pay was minimal, and the expectations to do treatments quicker and cheaper really began to overwhelm me. I remember the business owner saying that if customers wanted full coverage for their lash extensions, they should go to a lash salon that charged more. And that's honestly when the cracks started to really show for me. The environment was not about caring about their customers or making them feel important or special. It was honestly to have them in and out and pocket the money. I really wanted change and I knew there had to be a better way to do something that I was really passionate about without the nastiness and the stressful situation. I really struggled to work for this particular company. I had minimal time to experiment with treatments. I was told what products to use, how much of the products I could use, and of course, the magic number that the salon had to make for me to receive weekly commissions. And by this time, the owner of the salon had me managing 3 staff members. I was managing the social media for the 9 stores. I was working full time inside the salon, and I had zero boundaries to protect my personal life. And I felt overworked, underpaid, and underappreciated. I was done with the toxic environment and I started to plan how I was going to get out of there. I dreaded having a shift and having to get on that train to go to work. So I started applying for jobs that weren't even in the beauty industry. And for the next 2 years, I worked odd jobs as a traffic controller. I worked as a warehouse packer. I drove a bus for an aged care home. I was doing everything in my power to drive having this dream of having my own salon home. I really, really, really wanted it. I was using my spare cash to do extra training, to buy products, to buy machines, and I was offering these services to what family and friends I had nearby. And it wasn't many because I was in a city I didn't know anyone. So I was doing this outside of my boyfriend's spare room in his family home. It was a 2 by 3 room with a bathroom attached, and I was lucky enough to be using this space for free, which meant that I was putting all the money that I was making into learning. I was trialing techniques, I was reading advice online, I was watching videos, and I was mixing things up to find out what worked and what didn't work. Eventually, I began getting feedback and my results became consistent, and I built my reputation up enough that I finally plucked up the courage to rent a room on a daily basis. So here is a photo of the setup, and none of anything that you can see in these photos belong to me. This photo is also a photo of my partner Jacob, and he is a construction worker and he is covered in grease. He has a very dirty job. So in this space, as I said, none of those things inside that room belong to me. So I had to bring every product that I was going to use with those book treatments up the stairs with me. I had to wheel my laser machine in and out of that room before shift, after shift, and I only had that tiny little space and that tiny little table to work from. For many reasons that I've just named and a shocking parking experience, it only lasted for around 3 months until I found an even better room inside a Medi Spa in Cronulla, which is right near the beach. And I soon moved there while I was working a part-time job I was working admin for an engineering race company. I had the attitude that whatever needed to be done, I was going to do it. And the problem with that was that I was trying so many different things that I wasn't saving any money, and my outgoings were growing the more treatments that I was adding. Most weeks, I worked my side job to pay for the insurance and the repayments on the laser machine that I purchased. But I wished someone told me that you don't have to help everyone. I learned that, but I wish that someone had told me. Let me rephrase. You can't help everyone. And what I mean by this is you don't necessarily make more money offering tons of services. In my experience, you waste a lot of money paying for expensive equipment and insurance and different courses and studying things. So you should really just focus on one thing. And for me, I started to focus on lashes. I became obsessed with the idea of using lash lifts to grow my business and my reputation. I used this treatment as an incentive for my ideal customers that I found via liaising with other businesses. I gave whoever I thought had the same customer base as me gift vouchers to give their customers. So I buddied up with a local dance school and I wrote up a whole lot of gift vouchers and I gave it to the owner of the dance school, who gifted them to the children's mums for Christmas. And I had these ladies come to redeem their vouchers for a lash lift. I would take tons of photos, videos, I offered them hand massages, and when they left, I gave them a referral card and a loyalty stamp card. I also prompted them to leave me a review. I thought that lash lifts were perfect because they were a low-cost product. It took around an hour to complete, and honestly, I had nothing better to do with my time. I was in a city where I didn't know anyone, and I thought that it was a good investment for my social media skills. And I was really hoping that if I did a sensational lash lift for them, that they were going to tell someone about me and my services. So for me, it was a win-win. Since then, I've cut down my treatment menu, and in the last 5 years, I've relocated to my own shop front. And here is a photo of my own shop front in Sydney. I have built the highest Google rated lash and brow salon in Sydney's Sutherland Shire. Today, with over 250 five-star Google reviews and over a decade of experience, I knew that I had to share what I've learned with like-minded individuals. Last year, my salon, Bonita Beauty Bar, was lucky enough to be named Best Lash and Brow Salon in Southern Sydney for 2023. So, of course, I've got to share all the lessons and mistakes that I've made, with like-minded individuals. And that's really what this course is all about. And that's exactly where you come in.